Edward Snowden is breaking his silence, according to Reuters. Snowden has written a letter to Ecuador that's both gracious and defiant. The former U.S. contractor who leaked classified information about surveillance programs reportedly thanked Ecuador for considering his request for political asylum and for helping him get to Russia. Reuters reports that Snowden also blasted the U.S. for illegally persecuting him, and Snowden insisted that he's free to keep leaking documents that serve the public interest. But earlier, the Russian president indicated that those disclosures are not okay.
If Snowden wants to stay in Russia, he must stop his work aimed at harming our American partners.
And we have some more breaking news on this story now. Snowden has also just released a statement via WikiLeaks. World Affairs correspondent Jill Dougherty is live at CNN Washington with the details. What is the latest, Jill?
Well, Patricia, you know, it's a relatively long message coming from Mr. Snowden. But the gist of it, and I can read a couple of sections, is that he is personally attacking President Obama for doing what he said he wouldn't do, which is wheeling and dealing. He says that the president, the U.S. president, ordered the vice president to pressure leaders of nations from which I have requested protection to deny my asylum requests. And he calls that deception from a world leader, and also extra-legal penalty of exile. Then Snowden goes on to say that the Obama administration has now adopted the strategy of using citizenship as a weapon. Although I am convicted of nothing, it has unilaterally revoked my passport, leaving me a stateless person. And then he goes on to say that they're really trying to deprive him of the right of asylum. Now, I have to point out, Patricia, that according to the U.S., to the State Department, he is not stateless. They have, of course, as we've been reporting, revoked his passport, which is actually a travel document, but he is still legally an American citizen. What they've been saying is, look, we'll give you a travel document back to the United States, where, of course, he would face a court because of these charges, but he is still a U.S. citizen. In any case, Patricia, you know, it is still unclear from Moscow exactly whether or not he's applying for Russian asylum or asylum from Russia. There were conflicting reports from Interfax news agency and also from Novosti, RIA Novosti, saying that, yes, he had. In fact, his lawyer, who's been traveling with him, the WikiLeaks lawyer, had handed over documents asking for asylum from Russia. And then there was a denial of that carried on Interfax. So a little unclear. And also the Kremlin spokesperson for President Putin said, we can't confirm or deny. So at this moment, of course, it's late in Moscow, but it is still unclear whether or not he actually did apply for asylum in Russia.
Well, we are just hearing about this. I don't know if it's too early, but are we getting any sort of buzz in Washington to these latest developments?
You know, the only reaction that I got from an administration official, is really quoting what the State Department has been saying all along, that he will face justice and he will face, as I say, a fair trial in the United States, but he has to come back. I think the interesting thing that happened today was President Putin saying a couple of different things. Number one, in that sound that you played, Mr. Snowden can stay, although he's not necessarily saying giving asylum, but that he could stay in Russia if he stops these activities that are damaging or hurting the partner of Russia, which is the United States. And then he even added, that may seem strange coming from my lips. But in the same breath, he's saying that Russia is not going to give up anybody to anyone and is not planning to do that. That's not what they do. And as we know, there's no extradition treaty between the United States and Russia.